Welcome to the Dice Tower Summer Spectacular, featuring live plays, contests, and we'd like to thank our sponsors and our special guests, and we hope that you enjoy.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome out to the Summer Spectacular. My name is Chris Yee.
I'm Wendy Yee.
And I'm Roy Kennedy.
Yeah. So, I don't know why I was mentally bracing to hear the words, and I'm Jason Levine, the gaming machine. But that comes later today.
He's
You
the
miss him, don't you?
android.
I miss Jason, yeah.
That is later today. It's today instead of Tuesday.
Yeah. So,
It's top 10 time!
it's the Summer Spectacular. We're kicking out with breakfast. We have Rise of Babel, Flutter, and then Things and Rings coming up right after this. And then...
Top 100.
Top 100.
Top 100.
I will be
There might be
replaced.
surprises. There might be things that are going to be changing up. It'll be interesting to see.
Surprises.
I'm excited to see what
surprises.
Ameritrash games you have in your top 10, Wendy.
All the Ameritrash.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Western Legends, that's up there, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not on our list
Definitely.
at all.
So, if you have never been to one of our spectaculars before, loads of live streams, pretty much all day.
Loads of giveaways, too.
Loads of giveaways. Pretty much all the games that we're playing have been sponsored by the different companies to show them off ahead of their summer release schedule, basically, or a Kickstarter coming up. So, and then there'll be giveaways for almost all of them.
Yeah.
So we're excited about
That's always
that.
exciting.
And
Tom
the-
still won't let us enter the giveaways.
It's okay, Roy. It's
okay.
okay.
One day we'll get games.
One day.
One day.
We have too many games.
Oh, man. But I'm excited to kick it off with Breakfast, one of our favorite shows to do here. This episode of Breakfast is sponsored, and the whole spectacular, actually, is sponsored
Yes.
by
Yes.
World Series of Board Gaming.
I'm going to be there. You going to be there?
I'm going to be there for the first
Yes.
time. I'll never, I have not been able to go before. Wendy and Joey, unfortunately, will
You've
be
been to
holding down
Vegas
the fort.
before, though, right?
Heard of it.
Okay, cool.
It's a place where things are, and people may or may not have been
and
born.
sometimes people come from there.
Very few times. As part of the sponsorship, there's a really cool bit of information for y'all, a discount perhaps, that we're going to let Tom introduce here right now.
The Dice Tower Summer Spectacular is sponsored by World Series of Board Gaming. It's happening this September, the 22nd to the 26th of September 2024, and you need to come on out. If you're the best in gaming or want to play against the best, or if you just want to hang out and play open games, they're giving out over $200,000 in prizing in different ring events, 16 different ring events, outside ring events, and more. The Dice Tower is going to be streaming live from there. We're going to be there hanging out and playing games with folks in Las Vegas, and you can come too. For if you're watching the Summer Spectacular, you can get a discount code. If you buy a ticket to the World Series of Board Gaming, use the code DTSUMMER. And this code will discount the stay and play and 4 ring tickets by $50, and all other ring tickets, whether it's a 1, 2, or 3 ring ticket, by $20. And not only that, anyone who's got a ticket, we invite you to enter a contest. Just email us at contest@dicetower.com, and in the subject line, just put WSBG, which stands for World Series of Board Gaming. And you'll be entered, and one lucky winner will get a refund on their ticket all the way up to $475. So come on out, come join us this September. Thanks to World Series of Board Gaming for sponsoring the Summer Spectacular, and let's keep going.
All right, I'll tell you what. Oh, wait, you're starting. Oh, I failed.
You just wanted to talk about Animal
I
Fries.
really want to
literally
talk
said-
about In-N-Out Burger because, oh my goodness.
I literally
wanted
said,
so
I
bad.
got this right before
You
you
did,
came back.
and I was like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Anyway, hey, this is our Eye Catcher segment where we talk about something we found on the internet that appealed to us, normally in the board gaming sphere, sometimes random things. But hey, mine is a board game, and it is Rivals of Rock. So I'm excited about this. This is from Candace Harris, and she works at Board Game Geek and does a bunch of like board game media stuff there. But this is her first game design that is coming out from Academy Games. And honestly, I mean, I know me and Chris both have rock band like backgrounds and stuff like that. It's just cool to see like more games coming out like in the music themed. I know Chris likes all sorts of different music themed. I like specifically rock themed games, so I'm excited to see this. So
Yeah, there's not a lot out about it yet, but the fact that it's Candace, she does the Board
Yeah.
Game Geek podcast along with like working all the convention. She's super cool.
And I
She's
love her
cool.
like tasting games too. The fact that she like isn't afraid to mix it up in games, and she plays these big heavy games. So I'm really excited to see what design she's like come up with. I'm like, I've heard about this for a while, so I'm excited to see like how it actually comes out. And it's cool that the cover art looks really cool for it as well. You know, it's like
What is it mechanically?
I
Is
think
there
it's like
much
worker
information?
placement and things like that. But
Okay.
this is like, I don't know. It's so cool. Like this is like
Yeah,
like
that art's
Saturday to me.
awesome.
You know, this looks like every weekend. No, I'm just kidding. I used to go to more shows than I do now,
You're so
or
hardcore,
be
right?
in more shows. But I do still go to shows. The thing is, down here in Miami, it's like mostly just like DJs. It's like
It's a lot of DJ
Yeah,
music
that's
scene,
fair, that's
yeah.
fair. Worker
I can press
placement-
play too. No, I'm just kidding. They do
Worker
work.
placement, different worker.
Placement types
Different
are different
worker
worker
You've got your
types.
roadies and you got your rock stars. Those are the different workers.
Could
See,
be.
I'm
very
excited to see
possible.
how this works as you like are doing stuff to build up your band and doing like hopefully like tours and things like that, or different shows and stuff. There was a game from Fantasy Flight called like Rock Band Manager forever ago, and the game was okay, but I just like that theme. You know?
Right.
So
That's the thing is like because Candace, it's wild the variety of games that she loves, and she's not afraid to like really dig into a game.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
She has a knack for like really digging into the same game a bunch, whereas like I know I'm guilty of like I'll play lots of different games and stuff. So I'm curious about.
And she crushed me in
Curious about
Keyforge at BGG Spring. Candace. Oh, that's fine.
Academy Games, though, this is kind of a funny combo. Because I think of Academy Games, I think of like most of their
It's
catalog
historic.
being like.
This is a historical game. This is something that should be studied.
That's
Rock bands.
That's
Rock is
fair.
historical.
But yeah,
They've
I
been
mean,
around for more than 30 years, so it's a thing.
There you go.
yeah, but I think of like this is like their catalog here, right? 878 Vikings and Freedom Underground Railroad, Conflict
Yeah.
of Heroes.
It's definitely very different, right?
It's super
Yeah.
cool that they're the ones putting this one out because they make good games, but it's fun to see like
It is cool because they make a lot of war games too, so it's like now a rock game.
Is it Battle of the Bands?
Could be.
That's
I'm
what it
gonna
very much
roll
looks like.
and see if
Literal.
my drummer beats your drummer.
You're gonna do a drum roll
You're
for
gonna
that?
do a
drum
drum off.
roll.
Oh.
All right.
See what you did
Don't forget to hit the toms.
All right, Wendy, what do you got?
Ba-dum-bum-ba-bum-bum. Okay, I have Nocturne. This is from Flat Out Games with some Best Sobel artwork there, which is really pretty. I love that glowy forest thing going on there. But in this game, you are these little critters and you're magicians. You're like forest mages, and you're trying to cast spells that will get you like some cool magical items and those kind of things. And you're doing like set collection and
Oh, that
you're
looks
trying to
cute.
fulfill contract-like things, like little objectives and stuff. So it just looks like it's going to be that cute light game with a lot of those mechanisms that I like, with the set collection, and it's very spatial puzzle stuff going on. I think you're building a little forest or something. So it just looks really interesting and it looks cute, and I like that. I like adding that forest theme with the fantasy theme going on, too.
Yeah, that's cool.
So combine it together. All the foxes, baby.
Very cool. Hey, John, thanks for the super chat. Picked up 2 of Roy's favorite games at UK Games Expo.
Hey.
I started reading that and I was like all excited, and then I got to the last half of that and I was less excited
Oh.
because it is sarcastic.
That's exciting. But yeah, so Nocturne just looks like a cool game. I'm curious about it.
Do you know, is this one out? Is this like delivering or something? Or.
Oh, I don't actually know.
Because I know.
I saw this a few weeks ago, and I threw it on my list for eye
That's
catchers.
I think it kickstarted. Or maybe it
So
hasn't
recently.
kickstarted yet. I don't know.
What year does it say? It says
It's
this year.
It's 2024.
This one might be coming out at Essen. That might be what this one was.
Okay. No, I mean,
We'll see.
it looks cool. I'm curious about it. I do like the artwork a lot, though. I mean, Beth Sobel's.
Yeah.
I think that there's a few artists, illustrators in the hobby that will actually like really elevate a game to
Yeah.
the point where it makes more sales. I
Yeah.
think Beth Sobel's
I
one
think
of them.
she is, definitely.
Yeah, that looks great.
All right. My eye catcher is something a little bit different. It's an event that's going to be happening at PAX Unplugged this year.
Oh yeah.
This is the Indie Games Night Market. So this is like a one-night event. It's going to be a basically a sub part of the convention itself. So one night, there's going to be a bunch of, there's going to be an area where there'll be a bunch of tables where smaller publishers, indie publishers, are going to be showcasing their games, selling it and stuff. So Daniel Newman, who runs New Mill Games, an indie publisher, he has been to Tokyo Game Market a bunch of times, and he says he really loves the vibe there. He really loves what they're doing. And so he wanted to kind of try to recreate that for indie publishers in the US without having to fly all the way to Japan to do that. And it's interesting because Tokyo Game Market has like the big tentpole companies out there. But they also have just, a lot of it is like going around to table, seeing something that there's like 200 copies of, and there will probably only ever be 200 copies of. And people love digging into that. So on the Dice Tower, we don't do a lot of indie game coverage, in part because a lot of the companies don't send stuff out to us because they're making like 100 of something.
Yeah.
Or 200 of something, so we don't necessarily get them. Also, then, it's one of those funny things, like, we're not going to go out of our way to purchase a bunch of games and be like, oh, here's this review of this thing you'll probably never find. It'd be like if Kerrang! Magazine or Rolling Stone was like, here's this, like, small little punk rock band in, Westfield, Iowa.
That doesn't travel,
Doesn't travel, they'll impress 20 cassette tapes in their basement, and that's all they're going to do. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make, it's one of those things where, like, there's, how do you say it? It's almost like not a good fit. So some people complain we don't do enough for indie publishers. And
I must say, I wonder where you draw that line for indie publishers, because I would feel like most publishers in general would be considered indie, because the board game thing is so small. Most publishers are only a few people, but if you mean
like one person,
make 100 or whatever, or like just small
small batch
print runs, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say like most of the industry is indie,
I think that's the thing, is that I think when you look at that, it's less of a size issue, it's more of like what is their goal? And there's nothing wrong with someone who's making games saying, like, I just want to make 100 of something. I don't want to run it by a publisher. I don't want them to develop and tweak my game. Like, this is it. I want to print it myself and sell it to the 100 people who, like, really want that thing.
Gotcha.
And so something like this feels like a more natural fit to kind of bring a little bit more exposure, but kind of within that, like, within the right realm, I think. And so maybe some of these companies do then want to grow and to have more, broad recognition. And some people are going to be like, no, I printed 100 of that thing, and I'm good. I want to do the next project I'm working on.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, and I also think that like making connections in the industry is going to be really good for this. Because seeing some of those small companies combine together, you could make a real company.
It'd be cool if like there were like smash hits at this or whatever that people found and like, we'll like make more, make this thing or that thing, or like, we'll redo this and like make it even bigger. I know that happens a lot with a lot of the Tokyo Game Market games or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of the games that get brought over here are because somebody had like 200 of them and somebody found it at like a bigger publisher and they ended up bringing it to the world, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And when that game does well on its own, it's more likely that if a bigger publisher says, hey, that's getting some heat, they will more likely publish it like matching the designer's intent, right? Like if you pitch a game to a bigger company, they'll be like, well, we want it to sell, so we're going to like chop this, rearrange these things, overdevelop this stuff, which is fine. Publishers know what they're doing. But if it doesn't match like that designer's vision, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
New Mill Industries described themselves as very much like punk rock approach to board game making.
Oh, that's cool.
And I agree with that. So anyway, I think this is a really cool thing. It fits within that. So if you're at PAX Unplugged, you might consider checking out Indie Games Night Market.
That's cool.
That's my eye catcher for the week.
That's awesome.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Ticket to Ride Legacy. This is Legends of the West.
Yeah.
Very stoked to hear there's a Ticket to Ride Legacy game out there. We're Ticket to Ride fans. We're Legacy fans. What could go wrong? So basically the game starts off, it's a regular Ticket to Ride, but you're using only the east coast of the map, and then you're slowly kind of evolving and filling out the map as it goes. Each time you play, you get to find out new information. There's new mechanisms added to the board. We're not going to spoil anything, don't worry. But yeah, the game kind of evolves and changes over time until eventually you fill out the entire map and you have the full amount of rules.
Yeah.
And you could even have a mode where at the very end of it, you can kind of keep on playing it over and over again. A lot of Legacy games have been doing that lately.
I love legacy games, campaign games. I'm here for it. I'm here for the story. I get invested emotionally emotionally. One of the nice things about this game is that the story was and I was not invested whatsoever emotionally. And by good, I mean, gosh, I was disappointed. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I agree. The story is irrelevant.
It is, and I know like the gameplay was fine and all of that. It's just when I'm playing a legacy game, I can already play a game that the story's irrelevant. I'm already playing that board game. You're creating a legacy. I need a story to bring me into your game.
Also, we were playing with our kids. At the time, they were 6 and 10. They're sharp kids. They love Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
So they had a good background going into this. But as things kind of got added on, the games got longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
You're using more components, more mechanisms, more of the map. And the games got longer and longer. And also, there's that idea at the end of a lot of legacy games where during the cleanup, new information is revealed. You have to go through kind of an elaborate scoring, whatever the case is. They were done. They were absolutely done at that point. They did not want to hear more about it. They didn't want to learn more about it. They were like, okay, we're ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
They keep on hearing about you score this game.
Yes. If you are trying to explore a legacy game, if you haven't played one yet, I would skip this one and go to a different one.
Wow, hot take.
Yeah, hot take. Very hot take. Well, if you want to hear more from us, you can find us on YouTube. We're Ryan and Bethany at Board Game Reviews. Until then, this is Ryan. I'm Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye, everybody.
Guys.
Hi everyone, it's Stella and that's Darren from Maple University.
Hello.
And today we are talking about Robot Quest Arena. This is not a new game. This, in fact, has been kickstarted twice, I believe. And this is by Wise Wizard Games. This is a Robot Arena battle game and also is a deck building. Very cute game.
Yes, it uses, it's one of many games that is now integrating that deck building engine with other styles of game, and we've seen that. Clank did it with deck building and movement, and this one does it in a battle arena context. So very simple actions. Your currency also doubles as your movement, and then you're buying cards which will let you attack other players at higher strengths or greater ranges or things like that. Plays relatively quickly. It's kind of short and brutal, and you knock each other out and then come back and respawn.
I do like my deck buildings, and I like the combination of the battle and the deck building, and you're just trying to gain cards that move you a lot and punch your opponents quickly, and there's like melee and range attack. It's just a lot of light-hearted fun.
Yes, and they've got these very cool robot mini pieces as well, big and chunky, and they're almost like plasticine figures, and a number of expanded characters as well, which is a great universe.
Yes, and that is Robot Quest Arena. Thanks for watching.
What we do here is go back.
So for our old school game, wanted to discuss something that's a little bit more recent, I suppose, right? But in honor of the fact that later this week, Scott and PJ, who are two of the people who have won ring events at the World Series of Board Gaming, are actually coming to join us and play games with us live. Mm-hmm. We're going to be playing Cascadia with, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Scott who won the Cascadia ring event. And then we're also going to be playing this old school game here, which is Seven Wonders.
Seven Wonders. It's
So-
funny because this is the second edition, so it's from 2020. What
Yeah.
was the first edition?
2012. 2010 is what I meant to say.
Oh.
2010.
Oh, they were 10 years apart.
Oh,
It's like that was done on purpose or something,
man, slick.
right?
10th anniversary edition. Making it
Slick
happen.
stuff. So, so...
Hey, we got another super chat. John Shepard, thanks so much.
what does he say here? Is he making fun of Roy again? Because I'm super on board with that. Trading card games at yard sales. Design, it was a decent... Oh, okay, it's talking about like small little...
Oh, that's
Indie
cool.
Publisher.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
That
fun.
is cool.
So, so this game here, Seven Wonders, this is one that, like I said, was a ring event that they won at the World Series of Board Gaming. So they got that big old like Super Bowl looking ring.
Yeah.
The bling ring.
Tom has promised me that if I beat them at Seven Wonders, I get the ring.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah. I don't think they brought their rings with them.
I watched enough wrestling, okay? Oh my gosh, that'd be such a flex. They show up like on stream for the first time and they're just like, bing!
I don't
Dude,
know.
I wear rings on my left hand, but I guess you could wear them on your right hand.
When I played Dune
Moves.
Imperium with all the ring winners or whatever, they all had their rings and all of this stuff, and like I took pictures of them like holding it over, and I made it to 10 with the rest of them, but one guy got one more point than the rest of us.
Do you think our studio lighting would like blind the cameras? Is it reflected off the rings?
I'm bringing extra lights, okay? These are World Series winners.
So I don't know if Seven Wonders like it wasn't like the first drafting board game necessarily, was it? Or I just know it was the one that had the most notoriety. Was it the first one that brought drafting to board gaming?
So, per Sam Healy of the channel.
Oh, there were other ones before
Fairy
that, right?
Tale is the one that he always attributes. Like Fairy Tale was the first. Fairy Tale, I think it's called.
Because I know
was the first drafting.
I know
one.
drafting had been a thing in Magic the Gathering for like a long time, but it was just cool to have a game that like you get to have that drafting experience, but in the game. And it's the Civ theme, even though it's pasted on, it's cool to have like a Civilization theme where you're trying to get these different resources and use those different things to build your different stuff. I don't know. How do you guys feel about the game, or have you played it that much?
This is one that we played, quite a bit early on. We started with Dominion as like our first hobby game, and then this was the next one. So like we played this a ton back in the day. Collector's edition, that's a fancy box insert.
The thing I love about Seven Wonders 2 is like the simultaneous play. You know, the fact that like there's like basically no downtime in the game as you're all playing and drafting the cards. But oh man, you really have to pay attention to what like your neighbors are doing, especially. Is the war stuff in the base game, or is that in? Okay,
Yeah, you still fight in the base game.
You have to like pay attention so you're not giving someone a ton of points because they keep beating you in combat. You know.
But also you have to pay attention because if you don't draft enough resources and your neighbors aren't building, or like if you don't build certain resources, your neighbors don't build certain resources, you just don't have access to them.
Right.
And so you also
It's
have
gotta
to pay
limit your
attention
card
to
pool.
that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is one though, I remember playing this at MeepleCon, which is now Dice Tower West, but I played in a little tournament thing there that they had. It was just like a fun little like super light tournament. But there were 7 people and everybody but one player had played before, and that person had like read the rules and they knew basically what's going on. And so we played the game so fast.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like it was such a fun experience to play it at 7 really quickly and just be like bam, 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 bam. Like it's just one of those fun games that I feel like a lot of gamers know now. It's been around for a long time, and you can sit down and you could just blast through it in a positive way.
This is one of those games
Yeah.
that definitely was like hate drafting is a real thing in it for
yeah.
sure. It's like you have one science, you have another. I just have to not let you draft that because you're going to get so many points. Because it's like if I pass you another one of those science, it gives you the set that you need. You're just going to wipe us all away. It's like I guess I'm getting this card, you know.
Right.
So
I remember learning the term opportunity cost in college, and then when I learned this game, I was like, this is the perfect example of opportunity cost.
Right.
Like,
Taking this thing,
every
letting
card-
those go.
Yeah, every card that I take, I'm letting go. Yeah, the potential of all these other ones. Oh, I love it.
And then if you play with a smart enough group, sometimes you get to see the same card come back around. You're like, yes. It's like, okay, I'm going to take this one, but I really hope this one comes back around. It's so fulfilling when it actually does, and you're like, Doc.
I like this game a lot. I've been playing it a little bit more digitally lately. It's on Board Game Arena.
nice.
There's the app. But something about sitting down and just like splaying out those cards, it feels really good. I think Antoine Bauza hit some really good magic where this one was instantly captivating, and people keep thinking that this is a more approachable game than it is.
Right.
It's not a hard game by any means, and I truly believe that any game can be somebody's gateway game.
Right, yeah.
Like for a friend of ours, it was Power Grid was their like first modern board game they played, but that's because I knew that this guy had like a mind for economic type stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So for a lot of people, this has been a great gateway game, but I tend to onboard people with something simpler like Sushi Go or
For sure,
something
yeah.
like first, right? To introduce
Yeah.
the concept of drafting. The resources, it's one of those things that trips up people all the time when they play it for the first time. Like, oh, I have to spend this wood. You're like, no, hold on to it. Like, you just produce wood.
Right.
You have wood for the rest of the game, you're good. You know what I mean? And then some of the symbols and some of the little chains are confusing for new people.
And the fact that it's simultaneous at the same time with all of those icons can trip people up too, because it's like you kind of have to explain the game up front, because like or continue to explain the game as we're drafting over and over again, and that's gonna slow down the game.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. That's true. Now, this has spun off Seven Wonders Architect, Seven Wonders Duel.
Oh, Seven
Do you
Wonders
guys
Duel's so
have a
good.
preference as to which Seven Wonders game you prefer playing the most?
I really like the dual version. That one's actually in my top 100 just because I really love the drafting style of the whole pyramid draft. And it's so fun with that back and forth of like, okay, these cards revealed. And it has a lot of similar mechanics of needing the different resources for all the different stuff. The fact of like, oh man, they're about to beat me in the tug of war on war. And if I flip over the wrong card, that's the correct one, they get enough war symbols, they could just win the game outright.
Yeah.
That sort of like angst going back and forth, two players is really fun. But this one plays up to like 7 people like simultaneously really quick, which is really cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of fluctuates between, because I love all 3 of the Seven Wonders games. I think they did a really good job. Architects being an amazing family weight game. This one being a little bit more of like the term that people use is like the next step game, I think. You know, you play Ticket to Ride. This is a logical next step kind of level of a game. But it's still
Would
rewarding
Architects
now.
be a gateway game then?
Architects 100%, yeah.
In your mind? Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they put like a Lord of the Rings theme on the dual one or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe one day they would do something like that.
Oh man. See, I think that OG is still my favorite.
See, here's our fun little story about this is that it's the Seven Wonders rulebook. We couldn't figure it out. It was the first time ever, because we had played a lot of Dominion, played some other games. I was trying to read through the rulebook when we first got it, and I was like, I don't know how this game works. And it was the first time I ever turned to the internet and was like, does someone out there like teach how games are played? And yeah, and that we stumbled upon a very
Did you in fact
young,
watch it be played?
I watched it played. Let me.
I remember Chris talking about it. He's like, yeah, some guy just like sits down with his kids and like records them playing board games.
Ah!
And I was like, really? Someone does that? That's
I would
cool.
say you'd have to play the ad enough to be able to skip it.
I guess so, yeah. But I mean, people forget, this is what a very young Rodney Smith looked like.
I don't forget. This is Rodney always in my mind.
Yep, this is the first board game
background-
video that we ever looked up on the internet, was how to play Seven Wonders. And I'll forever be grateful to this game and to Rodney Smith for that.
And to Mansions of Madness for that.
And to Mansion of Madness. All right, well, there you go. That's Seven Wonders.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the Sacred Temple. What's the twist here? Well, it's got some of the normal stuff you'd see in Exit games. You've got the decoder where once you've found a code, you're going to put it into this thing, spin the layers round, put a code in and oh, we didn't get it right. Oh, back to the drawing board. Or you get it right. It tells you then the next sort of 3 sort of symbol code to go and find that little booklet or pamphlet-y thing to find out what the next little challenge is, the next little puzzle for the sort of escape roomy sort of thing. Well, the twist in this one is that you're actually, and you might be able to kind of hear it, you're doing jigsaws along the way. There's 4 jigsaws included, each 88 pieces, and well, they take up quite a bit of the time because you don't have a picture of what they're supposed to be. So they really are jigsaw puzzles that are parts of the puzzles. I'm not sure I like it because I now know that some puzzles and stuff are going to go in the recycle bin because, well, there's components that get used up. Not the puzzle pieces, but some other bits that are in the box get used up, and it feels like I'm throwing a lot of stuff in the bin at the end. It says 2 to 3 hours on the box, and to be fair, we did it in about 2.25 hours with like 1 hint, I think maybe 2. So that's fairly good sort of approximation on the time. We didn't necessarily think it was going to take that long, and we nicely stopped halfway through, so that is something you can do, just know that. But I don't know, we just feel a little bad throwing quite that much sort of components and stuff just into the recycle bin. That doesn't feel quite right to me. I think I prefer the Unlock series or other stuff, escape room board game wise, where you can pass it on. But let me know what you think in the comments section below, and until next time, have a great breakfast.
Hello, this is Oliver, and today I'm going to be talking about a dystopian game that I've played recently called Fallout Shelter. A few things that I like about this game is the dystopian theme part of it. It actually feels like there's nuclear bombs going off in your area, and you have to go into the like nuclear fallout shelter to live the rest of your life in, and you're like creating these locations that like kind of simulate life up there, but up there life is just boom. So you have to kind of simulate life. Another thing I like about it is there's monsters in this game, and they get revealed on random locations. And there's the monsters on the card, but nothing else, because the back of the card is clear, which I think is cool that they like kind of let the card be in the background it is and not just a random other background. Another thing that I like is from what I've played of Fallout Shelter and what I've seen, they have done a great job transferring over the game to the board game. Some games lose their theme kind of when they go into board games, like Minecraft Builders and Biomes isn't like Minecraft, but this is pretty straight up Fallout Shelter. And finally, I really like the lunch pail design to this box, even though me and my dad don't really like, tin boxes because, that noise and how they don't fit on shelves very well. But they had a pretty creative excuse by making it one of those retro lunch boxes, which I think is awesome. And I really like this game. I played it yesterday. So with that, I hope you have a great breakfast. Bye.
All right, we're entering our final section here of Board Game Breakfast today, so we can get ready for all of the live plays and stuff ahead of us. We have a familiar face here who might be our mailman for the day.
Oh, hi. I'm just down in the Dice Tower dungeon, Dice Tower headquarters, reading the latest instruction manual for the next IP game, Sonic the Hedgehog. I bet you can't wait to find out what's going to happen to our friends Sonic and Knuckles in the upcoming board game, Sonic the Hedgehog. But now I have an important question to answer. What do I upgrade first in games? Without question, the very first thing I do is I paint the miniatures. Now this is a huge problem for me because sometimes I'll paint the miniatures before I play the game, and then I'm stuck with painted miniatures in a game I don't like. So I did learn that lesson to play through it a little bit, or at least read the rules, and then paint the miniatures. I hope I'm not the only person to ever make that mistake, but I have. Another thing I like to do is I like to go find a way to store these games. Setting them up can be a beast, and I love getting inserts. Now, kind of the more I'm in this hobby, the more I don't like the heavy ones. I like the folded space that are kind of easy, or some very interesting ones. Like I found one for Abomination on Etsy that my friend Mike printed out for me, and I absolutely love it because it has like all the little bells and whistles to it. So painting and inserts. The last thing that I really like to upgrade is additional content. What do I mean by that? Well, you can go on to Etsy and you can find for Marvel United, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you can get those miniatures and you can get player powers. And I've started to like to do that quite a bit. I kind of wish I was more into it. I had more time to kind of upgrade those games that I really enjoy and add those additional characters and content that fans have made. I like to include that in my games. So those are the things that I like to include in my games the most.
It's interesting because talking about like Dice Tower upgrades, the very first thing that we upgrade is putting labels on bags, like nice thick bags and then labels on them. That's the very first thing I do.
Humans always want to put labels on things.
I think for me, if it's a game with like cards that you play a lot, or especially are handling a lot, it's like sleeving them. I don't sleeve many of my games, but it just depends on like if there's a card that you're constantly holding or constantly using, then I'll sleeve those cards, So.
Do you have Marvel Champions sleeved?
No, just because honestly, for one, that's a lot of money. That's super expensive.
Or you'd have to
sleeve all that.
switch them out or drop a lot of dough.
And I have sleeved a couple of the bad guys just so that way they're together and it's like, okay, this is the bad guy and I know this is their cards or whatever, because I'll play the same bad guy against a bunch of different heroes or whatever. But I don't have a lot of it sleeved. I do sleeve the hero card just to help use it as a divider with all the other characters or whatever, but that's not too crazy. But I'm not honestly playing the same Marvel Champions deck over and over and over again. I really like to mix it up.
That's fair. So. Yeah. Well, because I know that you play, you'll play like the same villain a lot, so you like strategically sleeve parts of a game like that.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Because it would be a financial disaster.
Well, it also takes up a lot more space. Like people don't realize how much space. Like it's like I would go from like having one case, which it doesn't all fit in one case anymore, but having to have like multiple things and like everything just gets bigger when you sleeve it. So.
Yeah. What games do you sleeve then?
I've definitely sleeved. I mean, it's weird to say, but Last Light you have to. Any game where you have the cards where you're putting them back in your hand, I'm sure any of those games are really important for that as well. There's several others that like I've sleeved. I know I was just talking with you guys off the screen that I really wish that, or I need to sleeve my copy of
Robot Quest Arena. Yeah, Terrence.
Because it was on the Hot Games. The copy I have was on the Hot Games table at Dice Tower East, and like so many people played that game. And that's another game where deck building games where you have the specific like starting hand. It's so hard to do with deck building games also because there's so many expansions most of the time. But where you have that starting like 10 cards or whatever, those cards get wrecked way before the other cards do.
Oh yeah.
It's like in Dominion, they released a pack that you can just rebuy. It has different art, but you can rebuy the starting cards again, which my Marvel Legendary starting cards are wrecked as well. So it's kind of like, man, I wish Marvel Legendary had a rebuy thing where you could just rebuy the starting cards.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's true. Our most destroyed deck of cards is the Crew. And that one we probably should have sleeved.
Yeah, those small games, it's easy to pull that off.
Yeah.
We could sleeve them at this point, right? Because that's the thing about...
Yeah, you sleeve it after, once they're nasty and sticky and don't shuffle because they stick together so much.
Also social deduction games. Social deduction games where you have just like a card for everybody's thing. Like if that card gets nicked,
that's
gotta wreck the game.
How do you feel about upgrades that are tactfully really cool? Like if you trade food, like food tokens for food, but it doesn't look like the icon on the cards.
That makes it harder.
So hard, right?
I definitely try to go for ones that are going to help you, like, still are going to represent it. Because if you teach somebody, a new player, the game, it's going to make it harder if it doesn't match good enough.
Yeah. Right. I don't mind if it's super obvious, but like if the icon in the game is a gold nugget and what you have is gold bars, you're like, I can make that leap, but like much more than that, I don't tend to like it.
It's hard, yeah.
And the little bits don't always do it for me. I know it's cute to have like, oh, it's a little steak or something like that. But if they're like harder to pick up than like the red cube,
or if they roll
I just
around the
want
board.
the cube. Oh,
that also bothers me. Is that if it's like doesn't have a flat side that you set down on a board, then it can like be a little less stable.
I personally love games that are like blinged out and crazy aesthetics and all sorts of different stuff. I mean, I designed like these 3D printed like towers for my Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea that I was using for a while instead of having the cardboard one. So I'd like have plastic chunky 3D towers and stuff. And of course, paint jobs, is always fun. I wish I had more time to paint, but like painting games are like so amazing. How does it feel for you? Because Chris, I know you're very much not a components or aesthetics first as far as like the game goes.
My favorite things to upgrade are all just useful things. So
money.
Like money, right? So we have a set of scythe coins, the scythe metal coins.
Oh yeah.
And we just have them in containers on the game shelf, and we pull those out for any game that we want to use.
Even if it's not scythe?
Even if
Are
it's
you
not
allowed
scythe.
to do that? So did you ask Jamie? You should ask.
That's the thing is we have scythe coins, we have the iron clays from brass, and then we have mini poker chips.
Mini poker chips.
And those three get us through any game that we need upgraded money for.
Yeah, City of the Big Shoulders, like an 18XX style game. We bought the mini poker chips, and there's plenty of dough, plenty of cash.
And I 3D printed a case for them finally, so that's
that part
exciting.
was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But like, I'm not huge on the component upgrades and stuff, but there are just little things that I do enjoy, like good quality bagging. If we're gonna just bag the game, like having. Some of the times you have those like really flimsy bags that come in there. Like Tom buys these like 17 micron mega bag plastic things. Like the stuff in the Dice Tower library is like.
It's solid, man.
It could protect Indiana Jones from a nuclear blast. That's how good it is. Okay, but like I don't need that nice.
Well, that's because they get beat up. Like when we have the thinner bags, they get really destroyed, and even the thicker ones get destroyed.
Right,
So
yeah.
it
The
makes
thinner
sense.
ones will just be ripped and
What
torn
is
up. and
the
stuff.
most upgraded game that you have? Would you say?
Right
Ooh.
now, I don't know. Dead of Winter for a while was pretty upgraded. I had made a foam core insert, and then we sleeved everything. So that was like real fancy.
Yeah, that was probably ours.
I say for me, it's probably, strangely enough, it's like my copy of Wiz War. Like I have the Plano box. Plano box is an amazing upgrade for games, like to have all the different tokens in. But the Plano box with all the tokens, and then I painted every single miniature in it, and then I 3D printed all of these like cobblestone walls to put on the board for like all the different places. And then the treasure chests are normally just little tokens. I 3D printed little treasure tokens, but then I painted all of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So like it's all like we're going through a crazy maze dungeon thing, and like it looks super blinged out. Oh, and the portals that are on the side, I like printed up portals.
Oh, you made actual portals.
I made like
instead of,
actual portals
green
that
token.
I painted with like color shift paint and stuff like that. I
yeah.
don't even know why I went so hard, but I was trying to make this weird like cube thing for Wiz War at one point where it was like magnets with the wizards where they were walking around the outside of the cube. It was an
Right.
idea.
goodness.
It never actually happened.
I see in the chat people are talking about Quacks of Quedlinburg is probably their most upgraded game.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh, I like the BGG bits for those.
that's the thing
Those
is
are really
like
nice.
anything you can get those BGG bits in, that's
They're
great.
really good.
Yeah.
Shockingly, I think our most upgraded game that we own is Trajan, because the copy that we got has the BGG bits
Yeah.
in it.
So wait, it's not even your fault. It's the most upgraded.
It just
not because of
happened.
us.
No, we just got it that way.
Oh man.
I'm not huge on like upgrading components and stuff, especially in our own collection, because
I do want to get. I do want to make a 3D printed insert slash thing for gizmos.
oh, the
Slash
dispenser.
Yeah. Mike
Yeah.
Keller
Oh, that
sent
would
me a
be
link
cool.
for that. That's what I want to make.
Yeah, because it's both a storage solution, but also it's like because sometimes the cardboard Gizmos dispenser, like marbles, get kind of jammed up in it. But no, yeah, that'd be cool. I think little things like that. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I just want useful things, better money, good bagging, like well organized in the box.
Oh, love little player bowls.
Oh, I have
Okay. Peace balls.
the acrylic tokens from buy the same tokens for Marvel Champions, and that's like I just carry that with me everywhere whenever I play the game. So it's just always in whatever box I'm currently playing with.
Okay,
And
yeah.
they're like sometimes those acrylic tokens can be really nice for games, especially when it's like an LCG, you know. So-
Right.
There's so many good things that you can upgrade. That's for sure.
As an
sure.
interesting aside, one of the things that that Jason mentioned in his answer was that he has like custom content that you can get for like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Marvel United.
Yeah,
I haven't really done too much. I know Joey has a few like.
I'm always interested in
Custom-made,
that sort of
unmatched
stuff. I always
characters.
worry about balance. I always the Marvel Champions there's so much custom content for, and like whenever there's like a drought of stuff coming out, I'm just like, maybe I should print out some of the custom content. I'm a huge fan of that stuff. I'm a huge fan of like people modding their games. But honestly, when there's custom content, normally I make it myself, which is weird. Like I'll do like battle lore. Like I made a 3-player map once with like a like fabric. So it's like, oh, we can play 3 armies against each other at the same time. And we played the game that way. And that would be
Really?
like, yes. Like I made it so it was like all shaped. So it was like 3 armies just clashing in. I don't know. I did so much weird stuff with battle lore. That's
Crafting
another.
for board gamers.
Like I feel like people who are like DMs or like have made their own campaign, they go over to board games and they're like, but I want to make my own stuff for this.
But what if this situation?
Okay, I have to ask Hannah this question. She wants an upgraded volcano for Pompeii, and she wants it to work. Is this gonna like spit out board game pieces, or are we talking
Like
about
science experiment
Yeah.
lava or like
Is this gonna
real
ruin
lava?
the game?
Because I'm pretty sure that will burn your table.
I would be okay with this. Yeah, Pompeii Legacy, also Table Legacy.
Also, not in my neighborhood,
Oh,
please. Just go somewhere else.
How many layers would lava flow through if you were on
I'm pretty
like
sure there's
the 10th
state
layer of
ordinances
floor?
against owning your own volcano.
If I don't see the code, the law doesn't apply to me.
That's true. That's true. All right.
Anyway, cool, fun discussion. Yeah, but yeah, painting minis. Shockingly, Wendy paints miniatures for the Dice Tower Library and has pretty much never painted a miniature for me, even when I've requested it for you.
Wait, didn't I finally paint that the Terraforming Mars one, the rover? I someone painted the rover.
Nope.
We got that like 7 years ago.
I know. I
That'll
requested
just take,
7 years
like
ago.
a simple wash. That's not even that hard, Wendy. Come on. She's like, Tom pays me to paint. How much do you pay me to paint, Chris?
That's true. No, I painted for Zatanna once, and then we got rid of the game recently.
Oh, I have that game.
All right, folks. We are going to end breakfast here. We're going to start getting ready, so join us on the next stream. There's a link below so every video in the Summer Spectacular will have a link forward and backward to the next and previous one. Also, remember to go check out at the beginning of the video the advertisement for World Series of Board Gaming. If you want a discount code, if you want to enter the contest to maybe if you have already registered, or if you do register now, to get a huge reimbursement on that as well. So enter that contest, and then click in the link below, our referral link to the World Series of Board Gaming website, and that'll be a big help to us as well. So until next time, well, I guess until 20 minutes from now, I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Wendy Yee.
And I'm Roy Kennedy.
Have fun building your homemade volcano.
Yes.
Welcome to the Dice Tower Summer Spectacular, featuring live plays, contests, and we'd like to thank our sponsors and our special guests, and we hope that you enjoy.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video on the Dice Tower. Hey, do you want to know what's going on with Dice Tower? Do you want to know about our events, our cruises, special things that we're going to do live here in the Dice Tower? Subscribe to Dice Tower Digest. Go to dicetowerdigest.com. It's a newsletter that we send out bi-weekly. We won't use your email for anything else. This is just to get you some information about the Dice Tower so you'll be up to date. Thanks for watching.